Hello students, in this video we're going to master percentage. I'll be presenting to you the solutions to assignment 8B. Do get ready. What is a percentage? Let's do some recalls. The word percent originated from the Latin phrase percentum, which means per hundred or out of every 100. The symbol that you have seen on the screen, it's used to represent percent. Thus, 50 with the symbol is read as 50%. And how do we convert a percent to a number? For example, if you're given X percent, it can be converted to a number by writing X over 100. So therefore, 100% is actually 100. Over 100 gives you 1. So 200% will be 200 over 100 gives you 2. Let's look at question 1. Question 1, we asked to find the value of each of the following. In 1A, we asked to increase 60 by 35%. There's something you need to remember, and what is it? That the original value, this 60, represents 100%. So if you're going to increase it by 35%, that means the new percentage that we are finding is actually 100 plus 35 gives you 135%. All right, so 100% represents 60. So we can find 1% first by dividing 100 on both sides to get 60 over 100. And 135% will be 60 over 100 times 135. And that will be 81. So when you increase the number 60 by 35%, the new number that we have here, it's 81. Right, let's look at the next question. Increase 28 by 125.7%. Right, so your 28, all right, it's 100%. Okay, this 28, it's 100%. So your new percentage would be 100 plus 125.7 and gives you 225.7%. Right, so 28 it's equal to 100%, or 100% equals to 28. So we can find 1%, which is 28, divided by 100. And so therefore 225.7% will be 28 over 100 times 225.7, and that gives you 63.196. All right, let's move on to the next one. So for the next question, we asked to decrease the value, right? We asked to decrease the value by 45%. Right, so 120 represent 100%. So your new percentage will be 100 minus 45. And that gives you 55%. All right, so 100% equals to 120. So 1% will be divided by 100 on both sides. And so therefore 55% would be 120 over 100 times 55. And that gives you. Let's look at question 5. So in question 5, someone bought the car, don't know who, and he bought it or she bought it in 2018 for 120,000. And of course, I think cars do depreciate. So in 2019, the value dropped by 20%. And in 2020, the value dropped by another 10% of the value in 2019. So we asked to find the value of the car at the end of 2020. To solve such questions, okay, we need to be very systematic. We do not jump from 2018 to 2020. Basically, we need to find the values year by year. So let's start off by having 2018, where the price is 120,000. And then when it comes to 2019, what happened is it decreased by 20%. Now, your 2018, always remember the original value, original one is always taken as 100%. So if it's decreased by 20%, that means your new percentage that we need to find will be 80%. So we need to find 80% of 120,000. So at 2019, okay, the new car value would be 80 over 100 times 120,000. And that gives you 96,000. Right, so that's 2019. So now we're going to find the value at 2020. Okay, so at 2020, right, the value at 2019, your 96,000 now, it's equal to 100%. Okay, because now you're comparing 2020 with 2019. So 2019 become the original value already. So the original value is always taken 100%. So it say it decreased by another 10%. So the new percent in 2020 would be 90%. So therefore, the new car values at the end of 2020 would be 90% over 100% times 96,000. Right, and that gives you 86,400. Right, in question 6, we are told that 45% of the students who took part in the creative writing competition were boys. And the number of boys that took part in this competition, the actual number was 135. So that means this 135 boys represent 45% of the students. So we asked to find the total number of students. So this total number of students that we are finding, right, actually represent 100%. Okay, so this is how we do it. Right, so 45% right is equals to 135 boys. So that's fine for 1%, which is 135 divided by 45 on both sides. So that's fine 100%, which will be 135 over 45 times 100. And that gives you 300. So therefore, right, the total number of students who took part in the competition is 300. Right, let's look at the next questions. So in these questions, we're given a number 2,400. First of all, it's increased by 30%. After that, the value that you get after increasing 2,400 by 30%, that value, you're going to decrease it by 20%, and then find the final number. Right, so like what I mentioned earlier on, to solve problems of percentages, we need to be very systematic. Okay, you can't find the final number straight away. We have to do it step by step. We have to start off by using 2,400. So your 2,400 represent 100%. Okay, so 100% is equals to 2,400. So if it's increased by 30%, that means the new percentage we're finding is 130, right? So that's fine for 1% first. You divide by 100 on both sides. And that's fine for 130%. Right, so your new value is 3,120. Okay, so this is your new value. And this new value has now represent 100%. Okay, because we're going to compare this new value, we're going to decrease this new value by 20%. So your 3,120 now downgraded to be 100%. Sorry, I should not use the word downgraded. So now your 3,120 represent 100%. Okay, so 100% is equals to 3,120. So 1% will be 3,120 divided by 100. Okay, so if this 3,120 is decreased by 20%, we are looking for 80% only. Right, so you have to be very systematic, okay, when you solve such problem sum. So therefore, the final number is 2,496. All right, let's look at question 18. So for question 18, all right, we are dealing with the investment portfolio. We don't know the original value amount. This is what we need to find, original value. In 2018, this original value decreased by 8% in 2018. And then with this value, new value, after decreased by 8%, right, this new value, it was increased by 5% in 2019. And this increased value is equal to 61,824. And we asked to find the original value. So this is different from the previous one. The previous one, we are given the amount in 2018. With the amount, we find 2019. And then with 2019, we find 2020. So this is the reverse, okay? This is working backwards, right? But not to worry. The concept is still the same. So what we are saying is in 2019, okay, this value is 61,824 actually represent 105% because it's the increase of 5%. All right, you're comparing 2019 with 2018. So your 2018 is your base, which you take it to be 100%. Okay, your 2018, we're finding 100%. Okay, so this is what we do. So 105% is equal to $61,824. So 1% is divided by 105 on both sides. Then 100% will be 61,824. Then 100. That gives you 58,880. Okay, so in 2018, right, the investment portfolio was valued at 58,880. Okay, but this value is actually a decrease of 8% of the original value. Right, so your 58,880 actually represent 92%. Okay, you always remember whatever you need to find, right? It's the cost price or the base, like in this case, the original value, this original value, it's always 100%. Whatever you're finding is 100%. So your 58,880, right? Since it's a decrease by 8%, so 100 minus 8 is 92. So your 58,880 represent 92%. Okay. Right. So 92% now it's equal to 58,880. So that's fine, 1% by dividing it by 92 on both sides. And that's fine, 100%. Sorry, I need to put. Right, so therefore the original value. Okay, there's actually a way of checking to see if the answers you have calculated, whether is it correct or wrong. So we have calculated the original values with 64%, right? Okay, so we're going to use this value and decrease by 8% to get the value in 2018. Okay, so decrease by 8% means we are finding for 92%. So 92% of, okay, we're going to check to see if our answer is correct, right? So we're going to take 92% times 64. Okay, so this is the value for 2018. Okay, so this new value, it says the increase by 5%, by 5%, okay, in 2019. So increase by 5% means we are looking for 105% of this new value. Let's see how much we get. Yes, and the answer we have here is 61,824. Okay, I always have a bad habit of writing the dollar sign. It's just one vertical line only. Okay, right. So which tally with this answer that we're given here. So therefore, our calculation is correct. So this is how you can check if you have got the correct answer. For the last questions, this is a very interesting question. You may encounter it in future. Right, so we have this girl called Su Fen. She is given the choice of two new salary schemes after a promotion. Scheme A is 12% increase of a current salary. Scheme B is 8% of a current salary plus she's given 1,000 annual bonus. So every year you'll be given 1,000 annual bonus. So in part A, we asked to calculate which scheme is better for Su Fen, scheme A or scheme B. So we're given that Su Fen's current monthly salary is 2,400. All right, so let's do it. So for part A, let's do for scheme A first. Now it's important that you do approach any questions in a stepwise manner. Right, so let's start off by writing this title called Scheme A. Right, so 12% of the current monthly salary means we are finding 112%. The 2,400 represent 100%. So 100% is equals to 2,400. An increase of 12% means we're finding for 112%, which is 2,400 divided by 100 times 112. That is 2,688. So under Scheme A, right, Su Fen's new monthly salary will be 2,688. Let's look at Scheme B. Let's use a different color so that we can do a good comparison. So for Scheme B, right, likewise 100% represent 2,400, and it's 8% increase, so 8% represent 2,400 divided by 100 times 8. Oh, sorry, 8% increase will represent 108. We can find 108 straight away lah. And that gives you 2,592. Okay, so this 2,592, and she's given annual bonus of 1,000. So this 1,000, she's going to get it. Annual means per year. So in 1 year is 1,000. So 1 year represents 12 months. So 1 month will represent 1,000 divided by 12, and that gives you, all right, $83. You see, there I go again. The dollar sign got 2 vertical line. It's only one. 83.33. All right, so the total monthly salary would then be 2,592 plus 83.33. Which is 2,675.33. Okay, right. So obviously this 2,675.33 is slightly less than 2,688. Okay, so if I were to be Su Fen, I would accept Scheme A because it gives me slightly higher pay. Okay, so based on the calculation, based on the above calculation, Scheme A is better. Let's look at part B. So is it always true that Scheme A is better? The answer is no. It really depends on how much Su Fen's current salary is. If Su Fen's current salary is 2,400, then of course Scheme A is better. Right. Since we do not know what is the salary that will make Scheme B better, okay, we're going to let it be X dollar. So let Su Fen's current monthly salary be X dollar. Okay, right, so based on this X dollar, right, we're going to calculate using Scheme B and Scheme A. Right. So for scheme A, it will be 12% of a increase. So the new salary will be 112 over 100 times X dollar, which gives you, here I go again. It's a habit. So have to change 1.12x. Okay. If we're going to use scheme B, it will be 8% increment and 1,000 annual bonus. So that will be 108% times X dollar plus your 1,000 divided by 12 months, right? So that will give you 1.08x plus 83.33. Right, so if you want scheme B to be a better offer, it means that your 1.08x plus 83.33 must be more than your 1.12x, right? Okay, so we're going to solve this inequality. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to minus 1.08 on both sides. 1.08x, sorry. Okay, why? So that this and this can go off. Leaving only 83.33. And 1.12 minus 1.08 will give you 0.04x. So to find x, we're going to divide by 0.04 on both sides. And this is possible because 0.04 is a positive value. So when you divide by a positive value, you don't have to change the inequality sign. And that gives you 2083.25. Right, so in other words, if you want scheme B to be better, then Su Fen's salary must be less than 2083.25. Okay, so therefore, one possible amount for Su Fen will be, okay, $2,000. In order to enjoy the benefit of scheme B. So how do you know that your $2,000 is the correct answer? Yes, so we can do again some checking on our own. Using $2,000, we can check for scheme A. Okay, that will be 112 over 100 times 2,000. And that gives you 2240. And let's check for scheme B. which will be 108 over 100 times 2000 and then plus 83.33. And yes, you will have 2243.33. And of course, 2243.33 is slightly higher than the 2240. Okay, higher by 3.33 cents, but still higher lah. So which means that your possible value for Sulfan at $2,000 is a valid answer. Okay, right, that's all for assignment 8B. I hope by now we have all mastered percentage.